Hello, everyone. Sorry for the wait. I had some technical difficulties. I can't speak right. It's my mouth. It's not working. Jack, good to see you. How you doing? This was an exciting night.
It was. I'm excited. It was a great night. It was a really good day 2 of the draft for the 49ers, I think.
So I'll ask you about each player individually, get your impression. But I think first, let's talk like philosophically. It seemed to me that there was a clear theme from this draft. I mean, especially the first 3 picks. How do you perceive what the Niners were trying to accomplish?
Power. Everything that they did was about power and speed and running the ball. I mean, you got a quarterback who is a big, strong kid that can throw the ball, but he can run if he needs to. You got an offensive lineman who is just a stud. He just mauls people in the run game. He's quick, and then you get a running back who is just fantastic. He's perfect for their scheme with the ability to really press the line of scrimmage and then hit the hole and just run through people and run through tackles. He's tremendous. And then the cornerback they got fills multiple spots too. It's a really interesting first round. It's really nice. Or first 2 days, sorry.
I thought it was interesting. There was like a real parallel between what the Niners and the Jets did. They both spent their first 3 picks on offensive players. Jets took quarterback first. Niners took quarterback first. Jets went guard second. Niners went guard second. And then Jets took Elijah Moore, the slot receiver, hell of a player. The Niners did not go with a wide receiver because it's the Shanahans. LaFleur over there is a passing game coordinator. Kyle and his dad are run game specialists to the core. And when they think of how do we help a quarterback? Well, the running game, of course, helping the running game.
Yep.
So the idea for Trey Lance is to get him up to speed and make him viable next year. It's not necessarily like give him all these weapons. You have weapons in the passing game. Give him a running game. Give him a running game so he doesn't have to throw very much. Because when Roethlisberger had success as a rookie, he didn't throw very much.
Yeah, they've got a group now that I think can really run the ball hard and really build off that ground game. You know, it's kind of the thought that as I look through it, I'm like, these guys are set to run the ball, and they've got multiple guys that can bring it. This offensive lineman that they got today, Banks, is just he's gonna push to be a starter this year right away. It's really they're ready to come, I think, and just start beating people up.
Absolutely, and it's a good change of pace because that offensive line got beat up and got people beaten up last year, and it's time to change that trend. I think it's interesting. People looked at this and was like, wow, this doesn't really fit what they did in the past. I mean, Trey Sermon, he's not super fast. Aaron Banks, big guy, more of a people mover, a mauler, not like a runner. But I think now that the Niners have a dual threat quarterback, we're going to see a slightly different offense. This could be more like what Kyle ran in Washington with the pistol and the zone read and runs between the tackles. I mean, it could be more like Trey Sermon could be a super Alfred Morris.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I know we're going to talk about him in a minute, but I as soon as that pick was made or shortly thereafter, as soon as I heard about it, I said that this is the best offensive player from Ohio State in this draft. He's awesome.
No question. We'll talk about him specifically in a minute. It's interesting to see the Niners focus so intently on the running game. And if you go back and look, it wasn't very good last year. It was 15th in the league, which is beneath Kyle. Kyle's way too good. Mike McDaniel's way too good. So it was interesting. Even though they took a quarterback, the emphasis was the run game this year, which is very much in character for Kyle.
That's a fantastic point because that's something that I kept hammering on last year was the inconsistency in that running game. And I think that they've got a long way with the center that they picked up with Mack and now this and this running back. Oh, holy moly. And then even the kid they got out of New York. It's fantastic.
That threw me off when they signed Wayne Gallman. I was like, oh, well, there you go. They're not going to draft a running back, but Trey Sermon's better than Wayne Gallman. I'll tell you that. Q-Max says, What do you guys think about TJ Vasher, 6'6", 215? I've never heard of TJ Vasher. You heard of TJ Vasher?
No, I'm not sure what position he plays. 6'6", 215. Yeah. Maybe he's a wide receiver. I'm not sure.
I'll look into him. All right, let's talk Aaron Banks, the second round pick, 6'6", 320 pounds. Not exactly the kind of guy that has been on the line before, but what do you think?
I think he's a beast. When you watch him play, I was lucky because I did a breakdown of Tommy Kramer, the guy that lines up opposite of him against Clemson this year, and he kept catching my eye. The guy's just he's fast. He moves well. He has the ability to move his feet and get those outside zone blocks. When he's got a really good strong anchor against the pass ability to, he has really good pass blocking ability as well. So I think he's going to be a really nice fit.
Yeah. And it seems to me, again, like if they're thinking, well, we can do outside zone. We got Raheem Mostert for that. He's one of the best outside zone runners in the league, and we have Kittle and all that stuff. But if we want to be good running the zone read, and why wouldn't we? I mean, guys, you got Trey Lance, freaking Trey. He's now one of your most explosive, dangerous running backs on the team. I mean, he could get 6, 7, 8 carries a game. You're going to have a really good guard, because the way the zone read works is it's that center and guard pushing on a defensive tackle, moving him out of the way consistently, a double team block. And who have the Niners had in there? Last year it was Daniel Brunskill and Colton Kivitz or Tom Compton. Not exactly the strength of the offensive line. Now, Alex Mack and freaking Aaron Banks on one side with Laken Tomlinson on the other, they could actually be a very good zone read team.
Yeah, they've got the zone read, or if they run like jet sweep and then fake the jet sweep and run the traps or whatever up the middle with the quarterback if it is Lance early in the season. It's all there. I think they've really done a good job of putting this group together.
Yeah, and if Lance doesn't win the starting job right away, because remember, there's no mini camps, there's no OTAs, it might be tough to get him the reps to get him ready for week 1. Maybe he'll need till week 4. And in which case, there can be packages for him where he comes in and runs. You give him 2 runs, 2 dropbacks, 2 play action passes a game to start off and build from there. There are things you can do, and I think this run game is going to be really a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, real quick. Devin says, in the middle of your streams, it would be interesting, fun to have everyone shout out where they are watching from to see how far the Cohn Zone reaches. Where are you calling from? That's a good call. Maybe we'll have a shout out roll call one of these days. But we're all busy.
Yeah, that's what you need to do on the Cohn phone. That's the first thing you got to have them do is tell you where they're calling in from. That's got to be their first thing. I like that. Yeah,
I should, because a lot of times it's like Germany, Sweden, Norway. It's like, wow, didn't know.
Yeah, I had a guy from Austria on the other night.
Wow,
on my breakdown that I did with Coach Johnston. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. All right, Trey Sermon. What do you think of him?
Oh, I think like I already said, I think he's the best player from Ohio State in this thing. You watch him play, and he's a stud. He has the ability to run outside. He's going to beat you. He's going to run through you. He's going to run. He's going to hit seams, and he seems like he has great balance, and he's going to attack you. The thing that I watched a little bit of film on him tonight, but I'd seen a ton of film on him. Right? I mean, if you go back, I tweeted out in early April, what the heck took Ohio State so long to start giving this guy the ball? Because in watching all that Justin Fields film, he just jumps out, and every time he's on the field, he's making plays, and he runs the ball like I hate the comps, but when you watch him run the ball, he sure looks like Marshawn Lynch with his ability to just put his head down, and he's going to run through you if he has to, or jump over you or whatever. He's going to make you pay.
Yeah, I don't know if he's as violent as Marshawn, because Marshawn was 1-on-1 on that one. But no, I see what you're saying. He's very violent, and I think what stands out to me is his contact balance. He gets hit, and he's got a low center of gravity, but he's not small. He's hard to take down. And every time Justin Fields was in a problem at Ohio State, it seemed like Trey Sermon bailed him out. That Northwestern game would be a bigger scandal than it was. I mean, not a scandal, but from the perspective of Justin Fields' draft stock, if Trey Sermon hadn't ran for 331 yards and basically won the game and brought them to Clemson and allowed Justin Fields to play great, which is what he did, but that performance wouldn't have happened without Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon was great, and I'm sure I could see Kyle, because sometimes I feel like I could channel him. And Kyle's watching Justin Fields, he's like, man, Trey Sermon's the best player in this offense. Imagine Trey Lance with Trey Sermon in the same backfield. That would be special. If you're a Trey Lance enthusiast and a Justin Fields skeptic.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that, because that's exactly, because he put up almost 600 yards combined in those 2 games. He had 254 against Clemson all-purpose yards, 335 against Northwestern, 331 on the ground. Just stud.
Who he reminds me of? Kareem Hunt. Runs extremely hard, really hard to take down. Hell of a running back. Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt's really a lot between the tackles.
Mm-hmm. That's what you see with Sermon. He has that ability to really press. He can get inside and out. He can get outside too. But he's fine if you want him to run inside or he's gonna, if you got him running, zone to the right side, he's gonna press that hole, and if that opens up on the backside, you better watch out because he's out the gate. So he's gonna be him and Lance together in a zone read scheme. Oh boy,
absolutely. I mean, Trey and Trey. That's a six the hard way right there.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I think we're looking at a different running back for this offense now that it's more of a pistol shotgun offense. You're looking for more of the Alfred Morris type running back than Raheem Mostert. Sorry, but I mean, there's still going to be part of the offense. It's not like he's just a spread offense quarterback and can only function in the pistol like Colin Kaepernick. I mean, he has all this background and under center, but why would you not put him in the pistol, right? You would want him running some and running the zone read. You have to use that.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. I mean, I think they lined him up in the pistol at times in North Dakota State. So yeah, he might as well do it.
Does Trey Sermon remind you guys of Carlos Hyde? He's better than Carlos Hyde.
No, he doesn't remind me. But you look at the guys that they have now. He doesn't remind me of Carlos Hyde to answer the question. But if you look at what they've got, the odd man out in that group is Raheem Mostert. They've got three guys. Now that you mention it, Jeff Wilson Jr., Wayne Gallman, and Trey Sermon, all big boys, all over 215 and power and speed.
Okay, so
sorry, I'm excited
continue that thought. Are the 49ers going to trade Raheem Mostert?
There's a possibility. I mean, that's somebody mentioned that to me right after that pick came out, so that wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I would imagine if I were his agent, Brett Tesler, as soon as that pick happened, I'd be calling the Niners like, "Hey, what the hell is this? Are you kidding?" I mean, there was last night all that hype about Trey Lance and Debo and Ayuk, and Raheem Mostert was like, "Hey, you guys are forgetting someone." Remember, he tweeted that and got a lot of traction, and now it's like, "Hey, man, you're like gone. Like you're like Michael J. Fox's brother in Back to the Future. Like the head's gone, the arm's gone. It's just like the socks at this point, man. Sorry, dude. They're phasing you out."
That is a good visual right there for sure.
Phasing you out, man. I mean, it seems like I wouldn't be surprised if there was a deal like tomorrow. I don't know. I don't want to cause an alarm, but this is the kind of thing that they did with Trent Brown. All of a sudden, I didn't know there was a need there. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah. I could hear you because look at the fact that they want to get rid of Garoppolo would be the same reason they'd want to get rid of Mostert. He can't stay healthy.
Oh man, that's a good point. And then Bosa and Kittle next. Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about that. I'm just like running into a theater, like yelling. I can't. I'm not gonna. Hold on. Let me look. They're coming in quick. Sebastian says Lance, Mostert, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, Juice, and Sermon. At least you remembered Mostert. Mostert appreciates it that you put him in there. Jeff Wilson Jr. too. It seems like basically Trey Sermon is a better version of Jeff Wilson Jr.
Yeah, that's what I think he's a much better version of Wilson.
But the way that the Niners use Jeff Wilson Jr., that's exactly how they're going to use Trey Sermon. Jordan says Lynch said he has the explosion ability to plant his foot and stitch directions. Who?
Yeah, switch directions.
Sermon? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, switch directions. Yeah. Watch it.
Yep.
He's a lot of fun to watch. He has huge games. He ran for 331 yards in one game. I mean, that'd be a record in the NFL, would it not? I don't know. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it'd be right there.
It'd be right up there. Trade 150. What? Oh, trade 155, 172 to move back to the fourth, and if so, which position? P.S. So glad we don't have to hear Grant yell 100 mil. We're going to talk about this in the middle, but a little in a minute, like what the next biggest need is. But a little teaser. I mean, safety, wide receiver, something like that.
Yeah, those are the two. They still got to go safety, wide receiver, maybe center.
Thank you, Brett. Appreciate you, Brett. Everyone follow Brett, up and comer.
Yes, we had a good conversation today.
Yeah, Brett's a lot of fun. I like Brett. Passionate dude. Hard left turn says, what do you guys think of Troy Warner, Fred's safety brother? What about Israel Mukwamu, the 6'4" cornerback from South Carolina? I like Troy Warner just because of the bloodlines.
Yeah, that's good. I think at safety, if the guy's still Jamar Johnson's still on the board, I believe that's the guy that I'd like to see because he's really good. Yeah, and then
Save that.
corner,
We're
there's
going to come back to that. Jamar Johnson is a good one. You guys might want to look that guy up because we're going to come back to him in 10 minutes. Jarvis says, "What's our running back pecking order now? We have 5 good running backs." It's a good question. It's a depth chart.
if you're there's going to be 4 on there, so you got to take the guys out that were at the bottom of the depth chart last year. Those are the guys for sure that I think are gone, unless they trade Mostert.
Yeah, so pretty much forget JaMychal Hasty, but it'll be Gallman,
Right.
Sermon, Mostert, Wilson. So I'm guessing it's going to be Mostert the starter to start, but then he'll get hurt. Mostert to start, Sermon number 2, Gallman number 3, something like that. I don't know.
Something along those lines, because Gallman's a big guy, but he seems like he's a little bit more of a he seems like he's more of a Raheem Mostert type of guy, but not quite he doesn't have the speed.
Straight ahead, less shifty. Yeah. Seth Harvey says, "Grant, at least we can say we finally have a running back more bulky than Debo." Some big runners. I mean, Lance and Sermon are punishing. Not exactly a finesse running scheme anymore, which is what the outside zone is. Sign Xavier Rhodes says, sign Xavier Rhodes. What do you think of JOK falling that far? Who's JOK?
I think he's talking about the linebacker from Notre Dame. I don't remember his name.
I don't have an opinion. I'm sorry.
Kamara or something like. He's a really good player. I'm surprised that he was a guy that a lot of people. He's a guy that a lot of people were mocking to go to like the 49ers if they traded back into the first round, maybe taken.
I see. Who has a better career, Lance and Kyle Shanahan or Mac and Bill Belichick?
I'm going to go with Lance and Kyle, because one of the things that I didn't really think about I know that, Mac Jones really wanted to go to New England. I saw that report today, but Mac Jones has enough arm at times, but he's going to be playing in New England where it's going to be cold and it's going to be windy and the weather's going to get ugly, and he may have some troubles with that. That's the one thing that would concern me if I'm New England.
Good point. It's not going to be like the SEC. It's not going to be balmy and humid, which is what he's used to. Good point. All right, let's talk Ambry Thomas, cornerback from Michigan. I wasn't familiar with him. 6-foot dude, runs a 4.37. Got my attention. Also had 3 picks in 2019, opted out of 2020. Seems like a good athlete to get at the end of round 3.
Yep, I really liked. I went back and watched him in 2019 real quick before we jumped on. Watched his film against Alabama in that bowl game, the game that we just broke down. They never even challenged him. He lines up. Michigan ran a ton of man coverage back in 2019, 2018 with their old defensive coordinator. So I think that might signal a little bit of a change in the scheme, or DeMeco Ryans making that secondary his and putting his stamp on the defensive way that they're going to go about business. The other thing with Thomas, because they played so much man, he lines up in the slot outside. He lines up everywhere, and he does a good job. So he can fill multiple roles if need be. Body wise, he looks a lot like Mosley, but that could just be the white uniforms from Michigan.
The thing about drafting corners is, like, once you get past pick 60, 70, I start to get skeptical. Like, what are you really getting? Because it's like athleticism is such a premium at that position. You got to be 6 foot tall. You got to run a 4.3 or 4.4. Those guys don't fall through the cracks. And the ones who do, like Chris Culliver, for example, I think he was the 80th pick in 2011. Hell of an athlete. I mean, 6 foot tall, ran a 4.3, but when the ball was in the air, he was clueless. He couldn't find it. And we saw it for years, right? He just couldn't find the ball. And he was a liability no matter how good his coverage was. Louis Riddick talked about it a lot. Like, he's good for the first 2/3 of the play. I don't like corners like that. And at least this guy has interceptions, has some production. People said that last part of the route he's actually good at. So I'll have to watch some film of him, but it sounds intriguing.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, he looks like a guy that can. I mean, think about the fact that he's a 3rd round pick, and they've got a guy that was an undrafted free agent starting right now. In Mosley, right? That's his name. So I think he can step in and play. He's going to be their 3rd or 4th best corner easily, and it's just going to be fun to watch him, see what he can do. He can return kicks too. They need a kick returner.
Right, and he could be the first guy off the bench. He could be, if Mosley struggles, if K1 gets hurt, because K1's never played 16 games in a season, let alone 17.
Yeah, that would be his role for this year. You're looking for him to come in and compete and be your first guy off the bench. Exactly.
Okay, last topic. I don't want to drag this out too long because we got to wake up early tomorrow. This day 2, day 3 turnaround is brutal on journalists, but
It is.
I'm okay. Biggest need remaining. Let's look ahead. What do you think they should do next? Safety?
I think they need to go safety, wide receiver. Those are the two spots really that coming into the draft we thought they needed to address that they haven't yet. So, if you're looking at wide receiver, Trevin Grimes is still on the board. He's perfect if he's there in that around that 5th. Maybe he might even be there as late as the 6th. Jamar Johnson would be a great safety to pick up if they can get him in the 4th, late 4th or something if they trade back up. I'm just kind of looking at the mock drafts that I did. Drew Dahlman at center would be a nice one to add. And then if they wanted to go edge, maybe Jonathan Cooper towards the end of the draft. I think Dahlman and Cooper will both be there in the 6th and 7th, late in the draft.
Yeah, and so the way that the rest of the draft is going to lay out is no more picks in round 4 as of now, right?
That's correct. Right now, as of now, they don't have another pick until I think it's their pick at 155.
Great, we can sleep in.
No
problem.
Sleep in and wake up and find out they traded up, and
that's why they traded up, not because they wanted Trey Sermon, just because they wanted to sleep in tomorrow. This is how the league really works. You give ourselves the morning off? Yeah, let's do it. All right. That's a lot of picks on day. That's a lot of work on Saturday. You sure you want to do that? No, let's not do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Last year they had 5 picks, man. That was the best. So good. So good. Anyway, they got to draft some players. They got to get better. Okay. Trevon Grimes, that's a good one. I like that. So they got 3 picks in round 5. That's the Kittle round. I got big expectations for that.
I think they have 3 picks in 5, and then they have a pick in round 6. So it'd be cool to see them take 2 of those round 5 picks and to jump into the at somewhere into the 4th, and then still have a pick at 5 and 6. That'd be awesome.
Before we go, Sean just tuned in apparently and says, "Is the running back good?" We like him. We like him. I'll just repeat what I said again because he's an absolute stud. He's the best offensive player from Ohio State in this draft, and you guys are going to love him when he puts on a 49er uniform and starts running the ball. Look, during the season when I don't watch college football and everyone was going gaga over Justin Fields, and I was like, all right, let's see what this guy's all about. Every time I was like, running back number 8 is the best player in the field. Nothing against Justin Fields, but this running back, every time they're in a bad situation, he rips off a 30-yard run. Well, I guess Ohio State's right back in it.
Yep.
Wide receivers, last day of the draft, I like Dax. Yeah, he's good. And also, Trevon Grimes is the guy we like from Florida.
Yeah. Grimes is a better playmaker, and he's got good size.
Any news on Tony Jefferson? No. I guess the Niners are going to wait, see what happens in the draft. And if they don't draft a safety, I wouldn't be surprised if they signed him and brought him in for camp. I would imagine he'd be like who's that dude from last year?
Cyprian?
Yeah, he's going to be this year's version of Cyprian. There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, did you have any thoughts on any of the other NFC West teams' picks?
I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to what else is going on. I've just been focusing on the Niners and trying to get my own stuff together for after the draft over with.
The Seahawks got Dwayne Eskridge, the little slot receiver. I like that for them. And then the Cardinals got Rondale Moore.
That's right. I did hear about both of those.
That's like Andy Isabella, except good.
Yeah, that's tough because you put Rondale Moore out there with the guy that they got from Houston. I don't remember his name, but you know what I'm talking about, the really good wide receiver.
DeAndre.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's tough. They do. That's actually a really nice weapon. And the same thing in Seattle when you pair up that guy with Metcalf. Yeah, that could be tough for the secondary. It's funny though because
Tutu Atwell, that guy who runs a 4.3 something. Anyway, so there's some speed.
Yeah, but the thing is, you look at what these guys are they're going small and fast, and the Niners are going big and tough, and that'll be interesting to watch.
That's a great point. The Niners are going big and tough. They used to be the fastest team. Now they'll just run you over. The quarterback will run you over. The running back will run you over. The tight end will. It's a very interesting team. They've totally changed their identity the last 3 years, and it's kind of funny to think that Dante Pettis was ever on it.
Yeah. I mean, look at Look at the guy that his team, or excuse me, the guy out in New York, they drafted. Who did they get? Elijah Moore. That's who you're saying? That's a
Yes.
heck of a pick. He's
Yes.
That's a really nice pick for them. That's
Yeah.
one of my guys. And the other guy, the one guy I wish the Niners could have got. I don't know where he went, but I saw he went off the board today. Was Amari Rogers.
Yes. Yeah.
I watched it.
Went to Green Bay.
Oh, he went to Green Bay. That's going to be tough because Amari Rogers is going to give. That's Amari Rogers is going to be Green Bay's version of Deebo Samuel.
Yeah. Yep.
Watch him. When you watch him on film, they look like the same guy in different uniforms. The way they're built and the way that Rogers runs the ball is almost a carbon copy.
Well, I'm not surprised that a Kyle Shanahan knockoff would draft a Deebo Samuel knockoff. So good. I'm not.
Yeah.
Nothing personal, Amari. I've never seen you play. I'm talking more about your coach.
Anyway. When you put it that way, it does make sense, right?
Yeah. I'm just excited that we're going to see, I think, a new offense next year. I think it's going to be a new offense. I mean, it's going to be a lot of the same stuff, but why would you not incorporate new elements that you didn't have with Jimmy Garoppolo? You owe it to yourself and your players. So that's exciting. And we're seeing them do it. Like, okay, we didn't have this element before. We want to do the zone read. Let's get a real guard who can move people. Let's get a powerful running back who can run between the tackles. And the biggest quarterback, you see that he hit 21 miles an hour on a run? Like, wow. That's amazing. Trey Lance.
It is. The one thing with Lance, it's funny, is because when you watch him play, he doesn't really get out where he can actually let it loose, because the majority of the time he's having to run through people. But when the one time that I can remember where I saw him turn it loose was in the game first game you and I broke down in the championship game, when he dropped back and he took off right up the middle and then down the left sideline, and he looked like a deer running down the field.
Yeah, he's got that long stride that Kaepernick has, but he's so much more shifty, and he's got all the different gears. I mean, he's so good. Yes. He's so good. And what's interesting is, ideally, Kyle's not going to have to call that many passes for him. People are like, well, he didn't throw that much at North Dakota State. Well, on the Niners, ideally, he won't throw much here. There were games where Jimmy would throw 8 passes. If the Niners could do that, they would do it again. And Trey Lance, I'm going to get this messed up now. There's 2 Treys in the backfield. Trey Lance seems to be okay with an offense calling plays that way. He doesn't need to have a ton of passes. Yeah,
like you said, like if you go back to the Washington deal, he threw the ball with RG3 442 times in 15 games. That's only about 27 times a game. That's far lower than what he's done the rest of the time. Because with the 49ers, the last 2 years, they've averaged almost 33 passes a game. So I don't know what 442 divided by 15 is, but I'm sure it's going to be about 16, 17.
Right.
Or 26, 27.
That would be good. But even RG3 had more experience coming into the league throwing than Lance. So I'm looking back at 04 Roethlisberger, which has nothing to do with Kyle and the 49ers, but it was the most successful rookie season, really, for a quarterback. He went 13-0. He threw 295 passes in 13 games. That's it. Yeah,
that sounds like what people who have been saying Trey Lance should start day one. That sounds like what they should be doing.
Yeah. It seems like if he's got the mental aptitude for it and he's athletic enough to, belong in the club and be on the field, great. Put him on the field. You don't have to throw that much. You got 8 different people who can run the ball on the team, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, the quarterbacks. I'm excited to see what this looks like. The offensive coordinator is the run game coordinator. Mike McDaniel is gone. Excuse me, Mike LaFleur is gone. Mike McDaniel has been elevated, and they may never pass the ball again.
Yeah. It's going to come out running I think it'd be the Nebraska version of the NFL.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be really cool. I have no idea what it's going to look like. Die Hard Niners 101 says, if the Packers called and asked for Trey Lance for Rodgers, would the Niners do it? Yes, you have to do that. I'm sorry. You might like Trey Lance, but you got to do that. It's Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. How do you say no to that? If it's 1 for 1?
Yeah, that would be a really tough one. And I think everything that we've talked about tonight, as far as like how this offense has changed for Trey Lance, would be totally fine if it was Aaron Rodgers under center. It would be
absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he has the ability to move around and do all these things.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for not taking your calls tonight. I'm really tired. I didn't sleep very well last night, and I want to go to bed so I can be fresh tomorrow for day 3. My favorite. Jack, thanks a lot. Anything else you want to talk about before we go? Because I'm out of stuff.
No, I'm just super excited.
The last one said
a whole lot going today.
Oh, sorry about that. The last one said to grade it. I don't really have any grades for day 2 off the top of my head. I might save that for like Sunday or Monday. Do you have any grades?
Yeah. I mean, I think today was an A. I think they, I'm just really excited with it. I really like the one that got me super excited, obviously, is the Sermon pick. That one got me jumping up and down. That's and then, then and I don't jump up and down very often. And then I looked at the Anthony Thomas one, or Ambry Thomas, sorry.
Ambry Thomas.
Going back and watching him just a little bit that I watched him on film. I think I'm going to watch more of it, but he definitely seems like a guy that can play. And yeah, that's exciting. Watch. And Banks too. I mean, just, fun stuff. Let's give him an A.
Yeah. Sermon was the only pick that I was like, I like the player, but I don't like the pick because it's not a cornerback. And then 20 minutes later, they took a cornerback. So I'm like, okay, fair enough. I mean, you didn't get rid of the pick 102. You took, you moved back, you packaged stuff, you kind of created a spot at 88 and took a guy you liked, and then got the cornerback at 102 where I thought you were going to get the cornerback. So I couldn't really, at the time I was like, that's a bad decision. And then when I saw it play out, I'm like, all right, well.
Oh, your mic's off.
My mic. Oh,
I can hear you now. I hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
No, we got you.
Darth Vader? Okay, sorry.
It stopped for a minute, but we got you.
All right, we're good.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. Real quick before we go, Alexinho says, guys, do you think we use Trey like Taysom Hill this rookie season? That way he would gain experience without having to carry the team, basically. Maybe the first couple of weeks, just because you remember, if you're the head coach, you're thinking, how many reps do I need in practice and in preseason to get Trey ready? How many reps? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot. It really depends too if we get the preseason. If they have preseason, that could help speed things up.
Yeah, preseason is going to be really important.
But his point is something that you've made a number of times, though, Grant, with putting building packages for Lance, and especially early on. That's why not do it. Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't alive. You remember how did Bill Walsh bring Joe Montana along slowly? Was it a series here, a series there?
You know what? I was really too young when he first came around, because I was only like 6 when I went. The first time I was like 6. But from what I understand, what I've heard was that it was basically he would bring Montana in points in 79 and 80 where he was going to be successful. So they might have driven the ball down the field, and then he'd put him into the game when they'd get down by the red zone.
There you go.
And those kind of things. And that's how they used him to build him up and get him ready to go. And then,
i.e., like if the drive starts at your own 5-yard line, don't put him on the field.
Right.
You kind of set him up for success. Be in the middle of the field. That way, if something bad happens, it's not like traumatic, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Right.
That's the way it was always explained to me, and kind of what I remember of that whole thing. Yep.
I think if it worked for Joe Montana, it might work for Trey Lance. If he's not ready, that's a good way to get him on the field. And look, Kyle and Lynch have been adamant that they're not going to rush him. So he's going to have to earn it and show it. I'm excited to see it. I'll be there. Ryan says thoughts about Ambry Thomas. We talked about him. We haven't watched much of him. Jack's watched more than me, and he remembered that when Alabama faced him in the bowl game in 2019, they stayed away from him. So that tells you something. Yeah, and
those are some darn good defense, guys he was going up against, and they never tested him once. All the big plays were against the guy on the other side of the field.
He's guy on the other side of the field who didn't get drafted. That's his name. Guy on the other side of the
field. Oh man, you killed me.
Good effort, guy on the other side of the field. Jack, thanks for hopping on late night. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. This is great.
All right, thanks everyone. Sorry to psych you out with the no Cohn phone. I'll take all your calls tomorrow after day 3. Go to sleep. It's Friday night, or go do something fun. It's the NFL draft isn't that much fun. Although I don't know, man. Trey in the backfield, that's exciting stuff. I want to see it.
They need to get one more Trey so they have a trifecta. Oh,
you were sitting on that? You waited till the very end to say that? Wow. That's great restraint. I love it, Jack. Thanks, everyone. Trifecta.